Hey everybody, I'm Jeremy from Weldtec Designs, and if this is your first time to the channel, I want to welcome you, as well as please invite you to smash that awesome subscribe button down there. And because we love vans, and today we are going to be talking about vans, most importantly this awesome Ford Transit behind me. You guys saw our first video that we did about this, showing that it is lifted, and now I want to get into the details of this lift kit. What are the benefits of it? I want to show you the lift kit on the van and go over some of the really important things, or what I feel is important about this lift kit. And as you see on here, I do have a set of 31-inch tires. This is the Method 702 wheel. I want to show you that if you decide to do this, there is some trimming. You can see that normally this wheel well was a lot smaller, and I have cut that back, and it still looks really nice, and it's going to flow with the fender. But it is something that's very important, and I want to make sure I show you, hey, this is what you're going to have to do. Once we get this vehicle lifted up, I'll show you how we also trim the back side of it to get this tire to clear with this 2-inch lift kit. But the first thing I want to show you in this is how much this new lower control arm, what I'm going to call droops out, or the extension of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to measure this right to the center, and we're coming up at about 36, depending on where you go, 35 3/4, we're going to call that. We're going to go ahead and lift this van up off the ground and see how high this goes before the wheel comes off the ground. So right there you can see that that wheel just came off the ground right there. And now we're going to come up and we're going to be at about 40 inches. So we got about 3 1/4 inches of droop out of this, and that's how far the wheel drops down. Now this arm does articulate farther because of the heim joint, and I'm going to show you that. But I guess first we need to get rid of this Method wheel. All right, so here it is, guys, as we poke our heads underneath this and just look at this beautiful lower control arm. So this is all going to be a box plate lower control arm, and the big thing is if you look right here, you can see that this ball joint still is at an angle, but it's still not beyond what its limitations are, and this is fully drooped out. So at the ride height, this is going to be back to neutral, which is really key because we don't want to break your lower ball joints. So on this as well, so this is the big thing. When you come around to the back of this arm, you're going to see that this heim joint right here is in there. And so in the original arm you had a bushing. What that heim joint is replacing is this bushing right here. This bushing doesn't really allow the lower control arm to articulate the way that we would like it to. So this was the big reason that we wanted to eliminate that and go with something else that's going to allow this upper or this lower arm to actually move up and down without binding up. So that's what your old arm looks like and your new arm. One of the other benefits in this arm, by having this heim joint being adjustable right here, the more you adjust this heim out right here, the more that it will push this wheel farther forward. Now, one of the negative things about this strut suspension is it doesn't have any camber or caster adjustment. So by having this come out farther, not only is it going to give you more clearance along the back side of your wheel well, but it's also going to add increased caster to your vehicle, which is always going to be a plus, especially if you're going to be driving off-road or down trails, anything fun like that. We know we want to get you guys off the highways. Now granted, even on the highway, that's going to be a big plus, having more caster in your Ford Transit. So just one other benefit in this lower arm construction that we have done here at Weldtec Designs. We talked about this as far as trimming. You can see that this is the pinch weld in the cab, and we have brought this pinch weld all the way back to about a 1/2 inch from the body here. So we did cut all of this off and actually sanded this down, starting at like 0, bringing it all the way back, probably taking about a good 1/2 inch off of this to get all the tire clearance. Now the one other thing that you're going to need to trim when doing this is right here. And you can see that the tire will want to rub right here just a little bit. So at the same time, you're going to come in, you're just going to sand this down just a little bit because that tire with the big offset, when this does turn all the way, it's just barely wanting to rub right there. But that's all the trimming that is really going to be necessary. You can see that on this particular vehicle, we are running the Bilstein shock, and this is the B6 shock. We are still running the stock coil spring, and then the next big part of this kit, which you cannot see, is going to be the coil shock spacer. I'm gonna go show you that now. All right guys, so this is one of the key parts to this Ford Transit lift right here, and this is gonna be this 2-piece billet aluminum spacer. Now you can see this thing is just beautiful. It is a work of art in itself. Really nice, really strong. So the first part of it is you're gonna have the lower section. This is where your shock is actually gonna bolt into the first part of the spacer. Now you're gonna have your second part of the spacer right here. Now this is the part that's really important, because this is the part that is actually correcting your camber. And what we've done is we're using 2 1/4-inch dowel pins on the bottom in order to locate this in. And that's gonna sandwich together just like that. It's also gonna have 4 countersink bolts that go into it, as you can see right here. And these are just finger tight. That's going to give you your 2 inches of lift right there when it's all done. So a very, very sexy part for the Ford Transit. And this is what is actually giving you that 2 inches of lift. So if you guys have any more questions about the components that we've built in this lift kit, please let us know. Comment below, send us an email. We'd love to hear your feedback, your thoughts on this kit. I mean, this thing's pretty awesome. So that's all I've got for it. I'm Jeremy from Weldtec Designs. I'll see you guys in the next video.